Welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's dive in. Today's expression 自由自在. It's one expression that I enjoy a lot, and actually it's used in modern Chinese in many, many contexts. But I guess it gives you a sense of freedom, 自由, translated as freedom. But one 自由自在, 自在 means be yourself, be comfortable with yourself, kind of comfortable in your skin, English expression. So 自由自在 pair together talks about individual development, like you are self-motivated. 自由 freedom means not just a freedom to do things, but the energy, the power, the motivation, the purpose comes from within. Therefore, we have this from. So you're your own, you're motivated internally, not because somebody told you so. You have your quote unquote passion, you find your purpose. Therefore, the motivation comes from yourself, self-motivated. And 自在 is you just enjoy being here, be yourself. So this expression really gives us own, almost like permission to be ourselves, to develop into our own person. Okay, this comes from nose pointing. This is a face simplification. The peripheral of the face, you can see it kind of like this part, right? And then this is a zoom in, like come to the center of the nose, which is this nose bridge part with this portion. And then this are two nostrils, verticalized. Sometimes to save space, Chinese characters verticalize things. Like we have dogs, pigs, four-leg beams, instead of joined horizontally, like their hoofs on the ground, they are kind of verticalized. We also have a bed, verticalized. We have our eyeballs, verticalized. So a lot of things in Chinese character to save space, verticalized. Nostrils here, below the nose bridge, verticalized. So this is the center of face. And when we're pointing, self-pointing to ourselves, right? How can we know or refer to our own self, our own being? Because the brain is the main function of ourselves, right? So a lot of times in English as well as in Chinese, we point toward the center of face, kind of center of brain externally, right? And the center of face is the nose, like right there. That's Chinese 自由. Okay, this is a mouse symbol, and a mouse symbolizes person. Main two functions as a person. You speak, meaning output, and you intake, meaning you eat. So you eat, you speak. The two main functions of human beings represented by this mouse symbol. And now there is almost like a breath coming out of the mouse. Okay, the ancient character dictionaries, they don't have this character exactly. So these are jumping further back from, I don't know, 5,000 years ago. So there's some jump in logic because there was no middle age, kind of from the original Chinese to contemporary Chinese, the midpoint scholars give us an explainer on this one. So my imagination is this mouse symbol symbolizes our individual, our will, so to speak, and this puff of air or light, however you want to visualize it, comes from us, means our energy, our presence, like a beaming out, right? So that means coming from. So self from, you have your own agency, okay? And self be, like you justify your existence. Just be there and be content with that. This existence, this be concept, right? To be, not to be, is a kind of abstract, right? We are only aware of our being here after a certain age, or realize there will be an end to our being as the current form. So this be in Chinese agrarian society, we use plant symbols to give us the concept, the abstraction of what it means to be. Okay, So vertical lines in both left and right icons here are planned. But the difference is you can see two horizontal lines. The first horizontal lines are all ground level. So we have ground level, we have this plant plug into the ground level. The difference is where the second line falls on. And the second line is not a representation of the physical world. It's an abstraction. It's kind of an arrow pointing in ancient way. And so when this one, when it touch at the tip of the root, that means the surroundings of the root. It's not the root itself. It's what's next to the root. That means soil. And then when it intersects within the pathways of the root, that means on the root right there. So the attention is on the root. So we have the root. Actually, the left side pronounces 才 means potential. Potential is expressed by this plant deeply. You can see the below the ground portion is way longer than the above ground. So above ground portion is the visible part of the person. So it's only a tip of itself. And that means it has if you see the root is this deep, but you only see a tiny tip, that means it has a potential to grow a lot bigger or taller. So here means potential. Things can grow, can develop, has a potential, the future to develop into its full grown form, right? And the right side is the surrounding, is the environment for the thing to grow. So now you have the internal, the innate quality, you're rooted, and you have the external, the environmental quality, meaning you have the nutrition, the sunlight, all that environmental factors are there. You have both in there, that means that you're there. You have both internal and external conditions to be there. So that's how Chinese express be. So be yourself is my translation of 自由自在. And that's an advice great for anybody. And actually, it's not that easy to achieve. And therefore, I have to do kind of a meditation facing nature, this picture expressed, to kind of sink in, to find ourselves, to be in tune, in touch with ourselves. So 自由自在 is not a effortless natural state, because a lot of times we're scattered or distracted, we're not be with ourselves. And in English and Chinese, 自由自在 is an advice for ourselves to be reminded to be ourselves. Thank you for your time. See you another day.